Hello and welcome to the Olympic Aquatic Stadium in Rio de Janeiro. This is the preliminary session on day 7 of the swimming competition. This is the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games, and certainly a great deal of expectation in the pool once again as we hit the week-long mark in the swimming competition at Rio 2016. 22 heats to be swum in just 10 events in the morning heats, the preliminaries, but there are several 50 freestyle and breaststroke sprints to be witnessed, to be swum, and indeed a couple of grand names that grace the pool deck once again in the heats. So the likes of Katarina Roxon of Poland will go as among the favourites up against Cashmore of Great Britain, and Katarina Roxon also to challenge in the women's 100 breaststroke. The likes of Jonathan Fox and Michael Jones of Great Britain will go head-to-head in the men's 400 freestyle S7 early on. Ebers and Moores will have a battle in the men's 100 breaststroke SB4. Well, an opportunity for Bethany Firth to lay down a marker ahead of her hopes of aiming for her 3rd gold medal of these championships. And then in the 50 freestyle sprints for men and women, will feature Ihar Boki in the heats in the preliminary session. In the women's 50 freestyle, we'll see another battle develop between Stetsenko and Myers. So plenty of action to be had in the pool as the preliminary session gets underway on day 7. The technical delegates will be introduced, the officials and the starters, before swimming officially gets underway. The preliminaries, an opportunity for swimmers to set times that'll see them advance to the finals perhaps, and indeed in specific lanes. The top 8 swimmers will qualify, with the fastest swimmer going in lane 4 and the 8th fastest swimmer going in lane 8 for the evening finals. We've seen a few swimmers though who've been able to just sneak into the final without necessarily swimming too fast, expending a great deal of energy, and make a successful push in the final. Amongst those, a champion on day 6 was the great Yang Bozun. The men's starter is Renato Silva, and Vincius Barroso will be the women's starter for day 7 of the swimming competition. This is the preliminary session then. And of course, the traditional support bases have found their way to the venue. There seems to be a lack of Dutch support this morning. There isn't an orange-clad army that's marched into the venue, despite the fact that we do have some very competent and quality Dutch swimmers in the pool as the session progresses. There are some Brazilian swimmers who are expected to challenge. Messages of support from all around for the British swimmers who are in action. Claire Cashmore will be going in the very first of the events. The likes of Jonathan Fox and Michael Jones of Great Britain in action. Bethany Firth in action again today for Great Britain. Stephen Clegg is also back in the pool. First event on day 7, the heat, first of 2 in the women's 100 breaststroke SB8. You see 5 swimmers going. Georges Szczecibaya, Howarth of New Zealand in 3, Wozniak of Poland in 4, Keane of Ireland in 5, and Tripp of Canada goes in 6. The world record held by Oleksandr set on her way to winning gold in London 4 years ago. Australian support is good once again. There is some Norwegian support. Going in lane 4 is Paulina Wozniak. That's New Zealand's Nikita Howarth, already the champion at Rio 2016. Keane of Ireland should challenge a bronze medalist at the 2013 World Championships and a 122 swimmer at her best. There's some lovely outfits. Usually they've come in the form of the Australian supporters, but the Irish support today turning out for Ellen Keane. This will be her favourite event in which to try to claim a Paralympic Games medal. Chichimaya of Georgia, Howarth, Wozniak, Keane and Tripp. Chichimaya in her only event in Rio 2016. Howarth, Wozniak and Keane. Howarth gets off to a very strong start going in lane 3, but already the streamline, the underwater by Wozniak impressive, and she breaks the water just in front of Ellen Keane going in lane 5. Now this is an event in which Keane is expecting to take a medal away from Rio 2016. It's her best chance as well, and now making a little spurt at the 25 mark. She's just ahead of Wozniak. There's only about half a second that separates these two swimmers this year over this distance, so not much between them. Much will come down to the final, but indeed, perhaps Wozniak being challenged by Keane in this heat.
Wozniak touching in at 38.96, just ahead of, 39. 38.96 was Keane touching in first. So a tidy time there. The women's 100 metres breast SB8, and it looks as though Keane is easily building a lead of half a body length at the moment with less than 25 left to go.
Oh, Keane is looking fairly strong here. Nikita Howarth already a champion in the 200 IM. This is one of her weaker strokes, one of her 2 weaker strokes. Strong fly swimmer is Nikita Howarth. She's going to touch third, but Wozniak is going to finish second behind Ellen Keane. 6th 8 years ago, but she's pushing for at least a medal here. She touches first in the first heat of 2 in the women's 100 breaststroke SB8. Howarth will come home third as Keane touches ahead of Wozniak. Team Ireland have some early morning cheer in Rio de Janeiro. Georgian swimmer Chachibaya goes in lane 2. A seeding time of 2:13.34. And Chachibaya will come home to touch in 2:02.60. Even Ellen Keane applauding the efforts. Go, Ellen, go. There is Ellen Keane. Still only 21 years old at her 3rd Paralympic Games. Well, Howarth got off to a blistering start, but didn't quite make a count underwater and struggled in the opening 25 to get much speed. Great kick from Ellen Keane. Lovely smooth stroke. Comes out quite high, but a driving push towards the wall and touches ahead of the Polish swimmer Wozniak. So Keane ahead of Wozniak. Nikita Howarth touches third. Chachibaya of Georgia fourth. Second heat of 2 in the women's 100 breaststroke SB8 sees Claire Cashmore of Great Britain go in lane 4. Hasn't had her greatest time of things lately is Claire Cashmore, but the 28-year-old bronze medalist in this event as far back as Athens 2004 will feel that this is her favourite event. So Cashmore gets away nicely, so too alongside her Roxon of Canada, holder of 4 Canadian records, 3 of them in the breaststroke, all 3 breaststroke events. This is an event in which she found a medal at the World Championships last year, and she is challenging Cashmore here in the early stages of this women's 100 breast.
Well, Cashmore, with a very quick tempo, it has to be said, over the first 25 metres. She's starting to settle now, and she will touch in at the wall first. I'll update you with the 50 split, which is 37.17, so well over a second quicker than the previous heat at the 50-metre mark. She has almost 3/4 of a body length on Roxon.
Well, certainly a shorter, choppier stroke from Roxon at the moment. And it's a very strong stroke. It's a very strong second half to this 100 breaststroke by Katarina Roxon of Canada. Again, not much separating these swimmers in terms of seeding times. Both 1:21 swimmers, although it is Cashmore who has the faster qualifying time. And I'll tell you, this is a real push. It's not going to be close to world record time here or Paralympic record time, but it is a real push toward the wall in a 1:21.27. Very fast time. Laying down the gauntlet here is Roxon of Canada, who touches ahead of Cashmore. Gallardo of Portugal, third fastest. Costa Rica's Haas Quiros touches touch fifth after Xu Jialing of China touched fourth, the 14-year-old, but very strong swim from the 23-year-old Canadian Roxon. That back end, great burst of speed at the after the turn.
It was almost as if Cashmore swum two completely different 50s then. The first 50, the tempo was high and sharp, and then the next 50, she really slowed it down. I think she was trying to relax herself. Suspect there might have been a few nerves in that first 50, and she's done what she needed to do for the heat. She didn't extend herself too far. It was Roxon in the end that had that nice push, just perhaps testing herself, testing the confidence levels going into the final. She finished beautifully.
So Roxon with a new personal best, posts the fastest time in the second heat, and indeed the fastest across all qualifying. Roxon ahead of Cashmore, ahead of Gallardo. Xu Jialing and even Quiros might fancy a place in the final. The faster of the heats.
The men's 400 metres freestyle S7 classification. We have two heats, 12 swimmers in total across the two heats. And if we look at the starting lineup, in heat 1, Jonathan Fox from Great Britain will swim out of lane 4, definitely in the hunt for a medal. He was 4th in this event in London. He's had more success over 200 metres. He was silver in the backstroke 100 metres here in Rio. The gentleman you can see on your screen is Kvasnitsia from Ukraine. He's swimming in lane 5. So the lineup from 2 to 7 is Schurman, Serrano Zarate from Colombia, Fox, Kvasnitsia, Taras and Sinovic from Croatia. World record is 4:39.114. None of the qualifying times anywhere near that range, but that's okay. It is difficult to back up as well from a morning session on day 7 to the evening session, which is the final. So we expect the swimmers to perform well within their best for the heat and do enough to ensure a place in the final. Fox with the quickest qualifying time of 4:55.32 in lane 4. And Fox had the best of the starts and came up first at the break of the water, so he'll take out an early lead, in fact almost half a body length at the 25-metre mark, so he is going out hard, perhaps to send a message, come and catch me in this heat time. But we know that he'll need to keep plenty in reserve for the final. It's Serrano Zarate just swimming off his right and the Ukrainian swimming just to his left. Fox will touch on the wall at 33.02, so he's taken it out quickly and touching in about half a second quicker than the Ukrainian and looking to settle very nicely in this second 50. Lengthening the stroke just a little, relaxing a little more, dropping the tempo ever so slightly and settling into his stroke. Looking fantastic.
Well, Jonathan Fox, he's probably best known for his backstroke as Jonathan Fox, but ultimately is a very competent freestyler. and he'll be wanting to make a point here with swimming alongside Kuznetsova, but just ahead of the Ukrainian swimmer. Serrano Zarate, who is more of a sprinter, he prefers the shorter distances, is still hanging on for that third touch overall. It's Tarash of Italy, though, who touches fourth fastest. Sherman and Zinovcic look to be just a little out of this for Germany and Croatia, respectively, but the battle on at the front between Jonathan Fox and Marian Kuznetsova. And while Serrano Zarate has paced himself nicely, just about 2 body lengths behind the current leader, Fox of Great Britain, there is still plenty of swimming to be had. Only go up to the 150 split now, which means 250 meters still to go. Another 5 lengths of this Olympic-sized pool at the 2016 Paralympic Games. But what a turn from Jonathan Fox there. That is just, I mean, they touched within 1.5 seconds of one another, but he's given himself at least an extra half-second lead. And what it does is it just expends more and more energy from Kuznetsova if he is trying to challenge for a quicker time. A poor turn just puts so much extra and unnecessary pressure on a swimmer in the pool. And Fox is reaping the benefits here. He's swimming his own race and he's swimming a clinical race. At the 200 mark, he touches 2:23.29, and he is now over 2 seconds ahead of Kuznetsova.
Yes, that previous turn cost Kuznetsova dearly. He was really pushing and just sending a little message to Fox, staying in his eyesight, saying, I'm still here. But that turn at the second 200, again, Fox had an excellent turn. A little better this leg from Kuznetsova, and Serrano Zarate just staying in touch with the 2 leaders. Further back is Taras from Italy in 4th, and Schurman from Germany in 5th position, and trailing a little now is Sinovic from Croatia. But Fox all the way, look, he's really obviously been drilling himself on these turns, because yet again he's just using it to his advantage and gaining a little more lead and just making the entire job of swimming the 400 so much easier for himself. But the Ukrainian having a nice swim, he's relaxed, beautiful placement in the water, slightly higher torso. But Fox looking very comfortable and unchallenged as they round into the 300-metre split.
Jonathan Fox is one of those rare, consistent swimmers who's consistently managed to pick up medals at every single major championship since making his Paralympic debut back in 2008. But what we haven't seen from Jonathan Fox in the last few years is consistent swimming, in terms of consistently swimming at the bigger events and indeed between bigger events. It's been a little quiet in recent years, so he's had to work hard to get back to his very, very best. And here we are starting to see Jonathan Fox coming into his own once again. Consistent splits down the opening 350 here. He'll touch well in front at the 350 mark. So Jonathan Fox, a 4:15.03, that's well off world record pace. And he wasn't chasing down a world record, certainly, in this heat. Kuznetsova now touches over 6 seconds behind. So Fox comfortable in this opening heat of 2 in the men's 400 free S7.
Well, the Ukrainian has tired considerably. It was a lot slower split that time, 39.25. But if you look across Jonathan's splits across the 50 metres, well, he's swimming impeccably, really. It's been 37 seconds or just over a lap. He's going to easily touch in first to win the first heat. I suspect the Ukrainian has tired a little. A round of applause for Jonathan Fox. It was a lovely swim for him. He'll be very pleased with that time. 4:51.10, a full 4 seconds quicker than his qualifying time. And Kuznetsova swam a 4:58.39, a lovely time from him too. And Serrano Zarate touching in third at 5:02.27. Fourth will go to the Italian Valerio Taras, 5:17.42. And just finishing off is Hannes Schurman from Germany, a 5:26.39. He'll have to wait and see whether that's done enough for him to get through to the final. There's another 6 swimmers yet to come. I suspect it may not be a nervous wait. And Dino Sinovic there from Croatia, rounding out that field of 6, his final time, 5:36.83. Jonathan Fox on the screen there, well, he looks fresh, it's fair to say, and it doesn't look like that 400 troubled him whatsoever.
Yeah, Fox looked good. In the opening stages, he had Koznitsia off his shoulder. But then at the 150, it was Koznitsia who had a poor turn, and Fox just turned it on a little. Had consistent splits throughout, did Jonathan Fox, but started to swim faster in the after the 250 mark, just to get it up a little. 451.1. Koznitsia second, and Carlos Serrano touches third fastest, just outside the 5 minute.
This is heat 2 of the men's 400 metres freestyle S7 classification, and we'll run through the swimmers for you. There's 6 in total. Pereira from Brazil, expect a big cheer. You can hear he's just taking his time getting out to the starting blocks and enjoying the moment here from the home crowd. So Italo Pereira in lane 2, Facundo Jose Uruguay from Argentina in 3, Michael Jones from Great Britain in 4, Andreas Bjornstad from Norway will swim in 5, Anthony Ponce Bertrand from Spain in 6, and Andriy Kozlenko from Ukraine to swim in lane 7. There he is, the Brazilian. He was bronze in the 100 metres back, 9th in London in the 400 metres free, so he'd dearly love to make the final here in Rio. Jones was 7th in the 50 metres free final. Bjornstad, 2nd at the Worlds, resides in the beautiful town of Drammen, which is just outside Oslo. And Ponce Bertrand, 6th at the World Championships. Works as a physiotherapist when he's not swimming. So Jones goes in with the quickest qualification time of 4:46.58, and Bjornstad 4:58.40. Jones in 4, Bjornstad in 5, Uruguay in 3, and the home favourite Pereira will swim at the top of your screen in lane 2. So the optional start of on the blocks or in the water, a decision left up to athletes and their coach. Well, it was easily Jones who got off to the best start there, and as he broke water, he's already almost a full body length in front of Bjornstad. He's taken it out very, very quickly. Kozlenko down in lane 7 had a great start as well. It's quite even across the pool, save for Jones, who's opened up a very handy lead heading into the first turn, and let's see how he touches in. He's taken it out extremely hard. The first turn split 32.51, so we can expect him to settle just a little. It was a quick opening 50, 35.42 from Uruguay, from Argentina, but look at this. Michael Jones in the very early stages, still plenty of this race yet to swim, but he's opened out a huge lead in the first 100.
He's a relative latecomer to Paralympic swimming, is Michael Jones, now at 22 at his first Paralympic Games, but somebody needs to tell him that this is a 400 freestyle. He's going very, very quickly, out in 32, in the second leg of 35. He's not going to maintain this sort of pace. It's not going to happen. Bjornstad, though, touches second. Arregui of Argentina third. Fourth was Ponce, and indeed Pereira of Brazil. But the second to fifth are within less than a second of one another, so they're almost in a line. And then with Kozlenko just dropping off the pace ever so slightly, is only a further half second behind that. So there are 5 chasing swimmers, and then Michael Jones, who is well out in front. He's a promising S7 swimmer who's only recently come through the ranks, but somebody who's also started to train harder since relocating to the National Performance Centre in Manchester. He's got a little to learn, perhaps. Has just gone far too early. But it's about pacing yourself in this race, and if he starts to drop off his pace, which I suspect he will, he might very well be caught by the swimmers who've paced themselves from the onset, including the likes of Bjornstad and Oregi.
Well, he did drop that the third 50 to 37.61. Interesting to see how he's gone here. So dropping off the pace by about a second again. So either he's settling or he's getting a little tired. We'll be able to see as the race progresses. But interestingly, it's a real battle on in second position, because we have the Argentinian swimming in lane 3, looking fantastic, in fact very comfortable, and he's managed to overcome some of the margin that was set early by Jones. And Bjornstad as well, having a good swim, but just off his left shoulder, the Spaniard Ponce Bertrand is staying in touch, and even the final two swimmers in the field, Kozlenko and Pereira, are staying in the mix for a finals berth. So a little more consistent now from Jones. The last two 50s were swum around the 38-second mark, but to give you an indication of the difference, Fox in the previous heat was swimming his 50 splits at bang on 37 seconds pretty much every time, save for the first 50, which was marginally quicker at 36 seconds. But Jones went out in 32.51, would you believe, and it's been steadily dropping. And look at this now. Araguay, who's been biding his time, is now making up a substantial part of the pool on Jones, and depending on how his turn goes, may actually be swimming very close to him indeed. So now only about a body length off the top place, and Bjornstad as well, just hanging tough at the moment, knowing how to pace himself. A bit of experience there, I suspect, over this distance, and that margin has narrowed considerably.
Well, I'll give him his credit. He's managed to hold on, Jones, but I'm still not going to go with the smart swim here. He took it out really hard, and the fact that he's dropped off by over 4 seconds at certain stages throughout this race is problematic. But there is always a case of look out in the final 50, and it looks like this might be happening. Jones is leading at the 350 split, but just ahead of Oregi, and Bjornstad, who swam consistent 37s throughout this race, is now finding himself in a position to make a move. That's not the great turn from the Norwegian, but indeed the Argentinian still off the shoulder. Jones might hold on here, but he needs to relook at his tactics, I suspect.
Well, and the question will be, given the final is in the later session on the same day of competition, just how much he has left in the tank. But it's been a very smart swim from both the Argentinian and the Norwegian. They've done a great job. They're not going to push too hard to the line because they know they've done what they need to get into the final tonight. But look at that. There really wasn't much of a margin in it, and we'll have to wait and see until later in the session with Jones as to how much he's taken out of himself. He took it out so quickly, and he'll touch in the winner of Heat 1. The time is 4:58.50. So only about a second or less than a second in front. So it was a lot slower, that heat. Fox swam a 4:51. So we're talking a whole 7 seconds difference. So 4:59 for Bjornstad, and the Argentinian touched in 4:59.35.
Under 5 minutes will comfortably get you into the final in the 400 freestyle S7 heats, but I really thought that Michael Jones had taken it out far too hard. I still think he needs to rethink his strategy, because he's lost a lot of ground there. Don't take it out quite so fast. You've got enough energy to bring it home, and at the finish you can see just how close it was between the top 3 in this heat. And if you take it out hard, you are going to tire. And the swimmers who have a little something in reserve can make the challenge at the end, and you'll be unable to go with him. That's a concern that Jones needs to consider if he's challenging for a medal in the final.
Well, it looks as though Pereira, the local hope, has missed out on the final. Jonathan Fox will go through the quickest, 4:51.10, easily the quickest, the final lineup.
This is the men's 100-meter breaststroke, SB14. The swimmers with intellectual impairment. This classification: Cho, Hayashida, Wenham, Evers, Tanaka, Sverrisson, Vera and Schluter. Mark Evers among the favourites. The Dutch swimmer, already a silver in his favourite event. It's getting away in lane 6, the quickest, John Margeers Ferrisson, a former champion at the Paralympic Games. But Mark Evers, a very slow start from a man that'll be desperate to claim a gold medal at the Paralympic Games after missing out in his favourite event, the 100 backstroke, in which he claimed silver. Going strongly here and comes into his own. His nearest challenger surely is going to be Tanaka, who is the defending champion, but who Evers has edged to silver at the last 2 World Championships. So Evers touches first at the 100, and it's just ahead of Wynnum of Norway. Japan's Tanaka is only 3rd fastest.
Evers about half a body length in front at the moment, and Tanaka just swimming off to his right and Wynnum to his left. It'll be a close touch in for 2nd place in this heat, but Evers looking extremely comfortable, in fact just dominating this final 50.
Mark Evers is looking very strong for a pole position come the final. This, though, the first heat of 2 in the men's 100-metre breaststroke, and Evers will touch first ahead of Tanaka, ahead of Wynnum. So Tanaka is expected to advance and again to challenge a 107.67. That's a decent time. Evers is a 106 swimmer, the world record at 106.33, and Evers can swim those sort of times. So too Tanaka, who indeed holds the Paralympic record after his gold in London 4 years ago, a 106.69. The Japanese swimmer has something in reserve for the final. Evers will know that. These two are not unfamiliar with one another, having competed regularly against one another at World Championships and Paralympic Games previously. But Evers hit the front very early on and didn't relinquish that lead. Tanaka touching 3rd at the wall, denies Wynnum the chance to touch 2nd. He finishes 2nd overall. So Evers ahead of Tanaka, Wynnum 3rd. Hayashida, good swim from lane 2. Sverrisson will have a bit of a wait to see if the 23-year-old Icelandic swimmer goes through to the final. The 2nd heat of 2 in the men's 100 breaststroke SB14, and the world record holder Aaron Moores goes in 4. Now, he's always been known as more of a backstroker, Aaron Moores, but he's swimming fast at the moment. He's improved by over 4 seconds in the last couple of years, and now is the world record holder, having set 106.33 in Glasgow back in April. Up against Scott Quinn, going in lane 5. Another great British swimmer who's also a 106 swimmer, so really tight for the medals, you suspect. Medals will be in contention come finals time. It's a good start for Gordy Michi of Canada, who goes in 1. But it is Quinn and Moores who are looking the 2 quickest already, and Moores is looking to show that he is indeed the favourite, not only the world record holder. Never mind, we have defending champions and world champions swimming. And the earlier heat, he wants to prove a point, and the world record holder is taking it out very fast.
Yes, it's been an extraordinary tempo set by Moores. 29.94 is the wall touch there. At 31.40 is Quinn, who is sitting just off his right shoulder. So Moores continuing a very quick tempo, just slowing a little now, but looking really sharp.
Well, he was on world record pace if he had decided to keep up that sort of tempo, but perhaps realizing that he needs to keep a little something in reserve. He's still just only off it, but look at the chase on here from Scott Quinn. The 26-year-old is saying, I'm going to challenge you at the close, and the choppier strokes are working here. It is going to be Quinn who touches first in Paralympic record time. So the winning time of 4 years ago, a 106.69, is no longer the Paralympic record. A 106.65 for Scott Quinn, who takes the victory, as it's a British 1-2 in this 2nd heat of 2 in the men's 100 breaststroke. Scott Quinn ahead of the world record holder Aaron Moores. Uh, 1:10.89 for Jung of Korea. It was Moores getting off to a really good start, then just shot out into a significant lead. Look at the wall, how far ahead he is of his compatriot, but a strong back end from Scott Quinn.
Scott Quinn will take an enormous amount of confidence from that, and even just sending that message that I'll break your record, thanks very much, and we'll see you in the final.
So he's only 0.32 of a second off the world record, and if he does push it, Scott Quinn showing that perhaps he's got the ability to not only break Moore's record, but to beat the world record holder, the current world record holder, defending champion and the reigning world champion, swum in the opening heat, and they two advance to the final. So Quinn ahead of Moores, Evers the world champion, Tanaka the defending champion. And you got to say the battle for gold is going to be hotly contested in the 100 breast SB14. Now the women's 100 meter breaststroke SB14. This will see Bethany Firth challenging for a third gold medal at Rio 2016. She'll be going against Van der Kolk of Netherlands, going in 5, and indeed compatriot Jessica Jane Applegate going in lane 6. Bethany Firth, Irish born, represented Ireland 4 years ago, swimming for Great Britain now, having switched nationalities. Van der Kolk separates the two in 5. Here is Firth. So Palazzo, Franzen, Firth, Van der Kolk and Applegate, lanes 2 to 6 in this first heat of 2 in the women's 100 breast. Quick reaction time off the blocks for Firth, and a tall figure. She gets a good underwater here and breaks the water in front. She's ahead of Van der Kolk, and indeed the Great British swimmer Jessica Jane Applegate going in lane 6. So Firth is going at a decent rate of knots in the pool, but Van der Kolk is not allowing her to escape, and it's Michelle Franzen of Belgium, in fact, who is just off the shoulder of Van der Kolk, who is third quickest at the moment.
Firth touched in at the wall at 34.64, a decent 50 there. She did lead them out hard, and Van der Kolk second at the moment. Franzen still in third position. There may be a bit of a jostle on by the 25-metre mark though, because both just putting a little more on in this final 50.
So Firth just extending her advantage at the moment. She's looking well set for a third gold medal in the pool at Rio 2016, and Bethany Firth, while she has a fight back from Marlo van der Kolk to contend with, there's definitely not enough pool left for van der Kolk to make up that sort of room. And Firth touches first, comfortably ahead of van der Kolk. Third, it'll be Franzen of Belgium, while Jessica Jane Applegate touches fourth quickest overall, and Palazzo of Italy, still only 18, touches fifth. So Bethany Firth, winner of the opening heat, the women's 100 breaststroke SB14. Ahead of Van der Kolk and Franzen. Firth took a good underwater and made it count. Couldn't quite pull away from Van der Kolk in the opening stages, but did manage in the back end of the opening 50 to get to a comfortable lead at the wall. Indeed, at the wall was being closed down by Van der Kolk, but had more than enough room in which to work. So the result sees Firth ahead of Van der Kolk. Franzen touches third fastest overall. Jessica Jane Applegate fourth, and Palazzo fifth. It's the second and final heat of the women's 100 breaststroke SB14. Great cheer for Beatriz Carneiro of Brazil, the 18-year-old who will go in lane 6. The swimmer to watch goes in lane 4, Michelle Alonso Morales. She is the world record holder in this distance. And that world record having gone in Glasgow in April. There she is. Her favourite event, the 22-year-old Spaniard from Tenerife. Gold at the 100 breaststroke SB14 at the 2012 Paralympic Games. Gold at the 2013 World Championships. Pernilla Lindberg will challenge. Good start for Lindberg in 3, but it is Alonso Morales who looks best with a brilliant streamline underwater. And Alonso Morales is leading for Spain at the moment. The world record holder, not disappointing in the opening 25, well ahead of Tuters of Netherlands on her outside. While Lindberg is struggling to hold on to 3rd overall because Carneiro of Brazil, a little inspired by the crowd support, is pushing up into that 3rd position.
Alonso Morales easily touching in at the wall first. She's extended that lead even further in the second 50 metres, a second 25 of that first 50. 34.03 is what she's touched in at the wall at a full 3 seconds, would you believe, clear of the field. And the Dutch athlete in 2nd position, the Swedish athlete Lindberg in 3rd position. Hear that big cheer though, a rousing reception for the Brazilian, but it's a great swim from Alonso Morales.
Well, she's put in a hard pace. I don't think she's going to quite get to a world record. She's just a little off that pace. But Alonso Morales is certainly looking very strong in the pool, and she is several body lengths ahead of any other swimmer in the pool. It'll be Alonso Morales in a Paralympic record time, a 1:13.05, who's going to touch ahead of Magda Tuters of the Netherlands. Our 3rd fastest is going to be the Brazilian. Beatriz Carneiro touches 3rd ahead of Pernilla Lindberg of Sweden. While Suchi Indriani of Indonesia touches 5th, and Janina Breuer of Germany 6th in this race. A big thumbs up, a kiss for the camera. And the Spaniard looking good for the gold. Paralympic record time, a 1:13.05. There is no other swimmer outside of Bethany Firth in this class that has been able to swim those sort of times. And just breaking down the emotion for Carneiro, who touches 3rd overall. It'll see her qualify for the final as well with a 1:22.31.
Well, it was a far quicker heat, far quicker in fact, about 5 seconds quicker, which will see the Brazilian who managed 3rd in that heat go through to the final. She was great at the turn, Alonso Morales. I mean, it was a slick performance all up. You couldn't fault it, and only just outside her world record mark, but breaking the Paralympic record by 2.5 seconds. Incredible stuff.
Oh, look at that. Delight. Her twin sister Deborah is in the crowd supporting her, Beatriz Carneiro. That time of 1:22.31 will see her through. But Magda Tuters of the Netherlands of 1:17.83. Alonso Morales, the world record holder, sets a Paralympic record in winning the 2nd heat. And she will comfortably qualify quickest, Alonso Morales, for the final, ahead of Tuters. First, 1:18.19. She's a 1:13 swimmer at her best. Marlou van der Kolk, Beatriz Carneiro, France and Lindberg Indriani into the final.
This is the men's 100 metres backstroke S12 classification for visually impaired athletes. We have 2 heats, 6 athletes in each heat, and we look at the starting list for heat 1. We've got Kazakhstan, Akhmatov in lane 2. We've got Dimitri Saleh, 26 years of age, in 3, Klippert in 4, and Saleh's younger brother Rahman swimming in 5. So a big family affair here. Fabrizio Sotil in 6, and Diego Fernando Cuesta Martinez from Colombia swimming in 7th, lane 7. So it's the 100 metres backstroke S12 classification. The world record and Paralympic record were set in London 4 years ago, 59.35. So well under a minute. All of the qualification times that have been posted for this event have been over a minute. Well, it's been a great start for the two middle lanes. Clippett and the younger of the Soleil brothers going very well as they break water and stroking very quickly. The tempo is high for the first 50. Let's see them settle now after they've established themselves in the pool, but it'll be Saleh, the younger brother, who'll touch in at the wall first.
Well, Raman is certainly the stronger of the backstrokers. Dimitri is the stronger of the fly strokers. Between the two Belarusian-born brothers who now represent Kazakhstan, but Saleh is going to be the man they'll want to beat. Ultimately, though, Raman Saleh is taking it out very hard. He's not unaccustomed to doing so over the opening 50, but it looks like he'll close out this race over the 100 as well. It's a fine swim from the younger of the Saleh brothers.
Yes, he's swimming very well. Clippett sandwiched between the two brothers, but it'll be Raman Saleh, the 22-year-old, to touch in first. He hasn't pushed the record, 101.58. Clippett will touch in second, and Dimitri Saleh, 26 years of age, in third position for the first of two heats. So Raman Saleh representing Azerbaijan, 101.58. Clippett from Ukraine, 101.72, and Dimitri Saleh, 102.63. Akhmetov a little off the pace there, 108.28. It was a quick tempo over the first 50 metres. It didn't actually take that long for Saleh to establish a conservative lead going into the first turn, but he got a great push off the wall. Look at that. You can see how much ground he managed to make up. And just looked like a touch in it in the end, but a really commanding performance, I suspect. Raman Saleh didn't push himself too hard, saving plenty for the final. So there's the confirmation of results from Heat 1 of the men's 100 metres backstroke S12 classification. This is Heat 2 of the men's 100 metres backstroke S12. Another 6 athletes to contest this heat. The quickest qualifiers will swim from 4 and 5. Tucker Dupre from the United States and Charalampos Tigannidis from Greece. He won gold in Beijing and Athens, somewhat a veteran of the sport at the age of 35. Dupre was silver in London. He's been a steady improver, the 27-year-old, and has, of course, won multiple Paralympic swimming medals. Matera in 6, yet to medal in Rio. So we've got Gerardo Correa from Colombia in 2, Clegg in 3, Dupre in 4, Tigannidis in 5, Matera 6, and Siurap from Romania in 7. So Dupre expected to win and the early favourite for the gold in this event. (101.58) the mark set in the previous heat. Well, it's pretty even as the swimmers break the water. Dupre and Tigannidis going stroke for stroke in the first 25. They had almost identical breaks from the water, but it does look as though Tigannidis, the Greek athlete, actually has the slim advantage going into the only turn of the 100 metres backstroke.
Well, the cheer here is trying to inspire Thomas Macera to something great. He touches 4th overall, but it's Greece ahead of USA, ahead of Great Britain. Clegg of a family of great Paralympic athletes already. Both his older brother and older sister have medaled at Paralympic Games in previous editions. The USA's Tucker looks to be bringing it home in the back end. It was a good, strong turn. He made the most of it and should take it to the wall. Where will Matera finish, though, the crowd wonders?
I do wonder indeed, but look at this. He's stretched himself beautifully over the final 25. Dupree will touch in easily. So at the turn, it was actually Taiganidis who touched first, but Dupree just stretched out, lengthened his stroke ever so slightly, and actually looked as though he was thoroughly enjoying himself. Such was the ease of his stroke. So 101.61, not the quickest time, so he'll swim from lane 5. 103.11 was Clegg, and Taiganidis faded a little, although he may just have been conserving a little for the final, which is later on day 7. 103.70 was the swim. Matera, the Brazilian, 104.19. We'll bring you confirmation of the final lineup shortly. Then it was the Colombian athlete Geraldo Correa and the Romanian Ciorat finishing in 6th position. So not a lot in it at the turn, really. But it was the Greek athlete who had the early advantage, and then, well, it was just a beautiful final 25 in particular. Dupree just stretched it out and timed his touch to the wall perfectly with, of course, the assistance from the tapper. So there you have it, result of heat 2. And Matera finishing 4th. So it has been enough for Matera. The Brazilians will be happy with that. He's qualified 7th fastest. So Saleh, Dupree, Clippert, Saleh, Clegg, Taiganidis, Matera and Akhmatov rounding out a quality field for the final.
Now, the men's 50-meter breaststroke SB2. 4 swimmers. Yanis Kostakis, Tingshen Lee, the world record holder, Sumchai Dumkao of Thailand, and Dimitrov Vinohradets of Ukraine goes in 6, already a gold medalist in the 50 back. Li Tingsheng of China, a world record in Berlin earlier this year. Perhaps that long-standing Paralympic record of Arnulfo Castorena is finally going to be broken. It stood since Athens in 2004. And Li, the People's Republic of China, goes in lane 4. His seeding time for this event was the world record set in Berlin in June, 55.02. The Chinese swimmers, I am told, have been swimming even faster in training and will be aiming to break the world record here. Chinese swimmers across the heats. This is the first heat of 2 in the men's 50 breaststroke SB2. Going off the starters blocks is Dumkao of Thailand. And looking to make the early move. He will be caught in the pool. This is the men's 50-meter breaststroke. Just trying to work with a big kick here. The Thai swimmer Vinohradets of Ukraine going in lane 6 is trying to make up time on the Thai swimmer, while the Chinese swimmer Li Tingshen is now pulled up alongside and indeed is going to swim on by. Vinohradets should go beyond Dumkao as well, a gold medalist in the 50 fly as far back as Sydney, but a former silver medalist in Athens. In fact, he won his first of his silvers at the Paralympic Games. But it is going to be Li in the opening heat, and it'll be a really good time. Is it going to be a world record here? He's going to reach for it, needs to reach for it. Short and choppy, but a Paralympic record for Li. ahead of Inaradets. Dunko touching third overall. It'll be Kostakis of Greece who touches fourth. But a Paralympic record and a very fast time for Lee Tingchen, the reigning world record holder, current world record holder. Well, he seems happy. A howl from the pool. Well, that's Dunko of Thailand, touched third overall. Inaradets swam a personal best going in lane 2, 56.35 for Dimitrov Inaradets, who's in fine form already, a gold medalist in the 50 back. But Dunko with a good start, but knew he was going to be challenged in the back end of this race.
Lee Tingchen, yes, had the disadvantage of the pool start, but just found his rhythm very quickly, breathing every second stroke. Slightly choppier towards the end. I suspect it was really he was just trying to increase the tempo rather than actually tiring at all. He looked fantastic and touching in easily in Paralympic record time, interestingly taking more than a second off the previous mark.
So Lee Tingchen ahead of Inaradets. Dunko and Kostakis has been DQ'd, a disqualification for the Greek swimmer. Unclear as to why. Perhaps a technical infringement or indeed a problem with a kick. So often is the case, a false stroke in the pool. 6 swimmers DQ'd. Second heat of 2 in the men's 50 breaststroke SB2. Keiichi of Thailand will go in 2. So Keiichi, Katarina, Huang, and Tronco. Now Huang Wenpan has had a fine championship already, a silver in the 50 back, but he's run 2 golds, the mixed 4x50 freestyle relay and the 50 freestyle S3. He will go in lane 4. And I suspect we might see a world record coming for at least one of the Chinese swimmers in the pool. Going in lane 6, Tronco of Mexico. His compatriot Arnulfo Castorena goes in lane 3. Castorena has just seen his Paralympic record of Athens go and needs to get back to his very best if he is to challenge for a medal in this race. Keiichi, Castorena, Huang, Tronco. 3 swimmers go off the starting blocks, 2 start off the wall. The 2 Chinese swimmers, Huang and Huang, go off the wall, but they are looking fastest already. Huang Wenpan, the 21-year-old, the sprint specialist, 50-meter freestyle champion, already a relay gold, is looking really good as he just chases out a lead ahead of his compatriot Huang Chaowen, the 23-year-old, just on his outside, and at the moment it is closest to them. Castorena of Mexico going in 3. Tronco not looking too bad, going in lane 6. Very quick stroke from Tronco, but I see a world record coming somewhere in this distance, the men's 50 breaststroke, and it might even come here. It's a good strong swim. Huang Wenpan, he's been in such terrific form at these championships, a silver in the 50 back, a gold in the 50 free, and now he touches in world record time in the heats of the men's 50 breaststroke. Huang Wenpan ahead of Huang Chaowen, ahead of Castorena, the former Paralympic record holder, and champion of 2004. Tronco touches 4th, and Keiichi of Thailand will come home now, a 1:12.34, but the world record for Huang Wenpan of the People's Republic of China, nearly 3 seconds off the existing world record, and a big PB for the Chinese swimmer. Talk about laying down a message ahead of the final. Take that much off a world record, starting off the wall the two Chinese swimmers got into their stroke so quickly.
They did. They seem to have this incredible capacity just to settle, even though it's only a 50-metre distance, and the tendency is to take that shorter, choppier stroke. They streamline themselves so well. The tempo is high, but the chop just isn't there. And you saw by the world record mark that came up on screen, he was actually behind it at around the 20-metre mark, and then had this incredible burst of speed to break that record, 52.48, the final time.
Well, a big world record for Huang Wenpan ahead of Huang Chaowen, Arnulfo Castorena and Christopher Tronco. Two Mexicans that will advance to the final. Kosri just manages to sneak in for Thailand. A former Paralympic gold medalist, Dong Kao.
This is the men's 50 metres breaststroke SB3 classification. 2 heats, 5 athletes in the first heat and 6 in the second. The 8 quickest athletes to go through to the final, which is later on day 7 of the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. And in the first heat we have Sanchez Martinez swimming in 2. He's the freestyle gold medalist in London and Beijing. Schoenmaker, bronze in the 100 metres free in Rio, and a gold breaststroke gold medalist. Luke from Spain was a gold medalist in Sydney and Athens, silver in London and bronze in Beijing, so quite the pedigree there. And Jin Peng from China will swim in lane 6. You can see him on screen there, just preparing for the start. So he was 4th at the World Championships, so he'd fancy his chances for a medal should he make it through to the final. The quickest qualifier was Luke in 49.42, who with that time will swim from lane 4, the preferred lane, the Spaniard. So we know that he's a fantastic sprinter. So there the lineup, lanes 2, 3 to 6. Sanchez, Martinez, Schoenmaker, Luke, Dielman will swim in 5 from Canada, and Jin Peng from China. Can he continue the Chinese success in the sprint events that we've already seen in this early session? So the option for the athlete, which is decided between coach and athlete, is a block start or a start from in the pool, and it's very even early on. It does look as though Luke is starting to build a slight advantage there, but it's Jin Peng who's in lane 6, who's having a great swim in the first 25 metres and starting to build just a little advantage over the rest of the field, but not by much. It's actually pretty difficult to split the line across the pool at the moment.
Well, it is Jin Peng who's certainly in the lead, but second does look to be Luke, only just ahead of Dielman of Canada. Schumacher has dropped off, and Sanchez Martinez is swimming way off his very best. It is going to be the Chinese swimmer who'll take it to the wall first.
He'll be just off world and Paralympic record pace, but the Chinese swimmer, there's going to be a touch in it. He's just got there to take that first heat. So what a very interesting final that is going to be. So Jin Peng swimming in the outside lane, wins heat 1, but only a touch ahead of Miguel Luke from Spain, the fancied swimmer. So 49.52, the record is 48.49, so they're not far off record pace. A nice little piece of camaraderie you could see on screen there. And Dielman from Canada, 3rd position in that heat, but it was very even in the first 25, and it was Jin Peng who built in the middle section, and Luke came home extremely strong the last 15 metres. Look at this, you can just see there. Such a close touch in the end. So there you have him, the winner of heat 1, Jin Peng, who will easily qualify for the final later on day 7.
Strong swim by the Canadian Dearman as well. Looked good for a while, and he's just swum a big personal best, the Canadian, just outside the 50-second mark of 50.08. Oh, Gustavo Martinez, Sanchez Martinez, a DQ in the heats.
Well, disappointing for the Mexican. We have seen a little bit of that theme running through some of their, particularly the IM events as well, a few issues with the breaststroke technique. It's a technically difficult stroke, particularly at Paralympic level. So the swimmers just receiving a towel off. This is the men's 50 metres breaststroke SB3 classification heat 2. 6 athletes to swim. In this heat we have Ahmed Kelly from Australia, who was 4th in London, swimming in lane 3. His preferred distance, he likes the shorter distances. Morelli in 4 from Italy, he was 6th in London. So a number of athletes really hoping to feature among the medals. Suzuki will swim in 5. He was the Beijing gold medalist. He won bronze in London 4 years ago. Gil from Spain, silver in Beijing and Athens, but 8th in London, now 40 years of age. Larson was 7th in London, so all these swimmers know each other very well. They've faced off in finals around the world and at Paralympic World Championship level. Suzuki is the world record holder. That's his mark that was under threat in the previous heat but not reached, 48.49. So Suzuki not posting the quickest qualifying time. So the lineup is from lane 2, Karatzis from Greece, Kelly from Australia in 3, Morelli from Italy in 4, Suzuki from Japan in 5, the world record and Paralympic record holder, Gil from Spain in 6, and Larson from Denmark in lane 7. You can see on your screen there, final roll of the shoulders before popping in the pool. So the option for a block start or in the pool. Suzuki, you could see on your screen there. So 48.49 seconds is his mark. He set 4 years ago. Let's see whether he can back up. Clean start. It was Larson in 7 who had a great start there, but Suzuki as well, as expected, taking it out hard early. He loves the sprint. We know he does. And look at this. Very different to heat 1. Suzuki doing the double stroke, 1 breath each stroke. Swimming very close to the right-hand lane rope, but looking comfortable, opening up quite a lead at the halfway mark.
Watch out for Morelli. He's got a very shallow breaststroke and he doesn't breathe too often underwater. It takes several strokes before he comes up for a breath. But he's somebody who has a very strong back end. He's a competent IM swimmer as well, Morelli. But he'll fancy a medal chance in this race and should challenge Suzuki.
So Suzuki just seems to be off his record mark. But look at this. Morelli had, as you pointed out, an extremely strong finish. Suzuki touching in first, but what a message from Morelli saying, I'm here too. And I know what I'm capable of. And Kelly from Australia touching in 3rd position. So it was 49.71 for Suzuki, 49.88 for Morelli. Not a lot in it. 51.91 for Kelly. So a little further off the pace there, but possibly well below his best, I suspect. In fact, about 1.5 seconds outside his qualifying time for this event. There you have him, Suzuki. Got away to a brilliant start in the middle section of the race. Looked fantastic, but Morelli with that real kick towards the end. And look at Kelly there too in lane 3. Had a great finish as well. Confirmation of the final results of heat 2. And we'll be able to bring you the lineup for the final later on day 7. So here's how it looks. Ginger Pang, the fastest qualifier, will be in 4. Suzuki, Luke, Morelli, Dearman from Canada, Kelly, Schoenmaker and Gil just squeezed in there as the 8th fastest qualifier, 53.07. So 49.52, the mark set by Jin in heat 1. Plenty of Australian supporters there. Very happy to see Ahmed Kelly make it through to the final, and I think we've got some supporters from Thailand. We've seen 2 Thai swimmers in the heats so far. One has made it through to a final, which will be later on day 7, so we can expect to see those supporters back. There's the Australians. And look, all nationalities very well represented. Some Brazilian fans there. They've got a lot to cheer about in the next heat as well. Great Britain enjoying such success at the pool. This is the women's 50 metres backstroke SB3 classification. And in heat 1 we have 7 swimmers, and in heat 2 8 swimmers, so almost a full box. And the fastest 8 will progress through. We have a SB2 classification swimmer in Peng Hu-ping, who's going to be swimming for China in lane 6. A quick run through the lineup. It's Deng from China in 1, Watson from Australia in 2. Firmino from Brazil, expect plenty of support for her. She's swimming in 3. She's 41 years of age. She's a veteran. Competed in multiple Paralympic Games and featured in Athens. There she is on your screen there. Patricia Valle from Mexico. Lafina from Ukraine will be in 5. Peng from China in 6. And Cunnington from Canada in 7. So you can see those, the world record and Paralympic record marks across the 2 classifications. So we do have 1 SB2 swimmer in heat 1 and 2 SB2 swimmers in heat 2. I'll update you shortly on who's who in heat 2. The world mark 106.43 for SB2 and 54.21 for SB3. 50 metres breaststroke, the option of a pool or block start. And Valle from Mexico, multiple freestyle medalist. Her best breaststroke result has been a bronze at Paralympic Paralympic Games level, at least, was in Sydney, so back in the year 2000. Lafina was 5th at the World Championships, so she'll be itching for a medal. Deng, just 15 years of age, you can see at the top of your screen in lane 1. The Mexican in 4 is 47 years of age, so a spread of ages and experience in this heat. And you could see on your screen there, Canadian Cunnington, Tammy Cunnington, 40 years of age. So a little pause in proceedings here. I did think that it was taking a very long time for the starter's gun to come. We'll just see a technical official is walking out to the blocks and checking in with Watson from Australia. Nod of the head, an acknowledgement. She's heard what the official had to say. So will we be set now? Watson, 24 years of age. They're finally away. It's always a little nerve jangling when there's a delay at the start, but it doesn't seem to have troubled Cunnington, who's swimming at the bottom of your screen, actually just out of view at the moment, and it looks as though Lafina has the early lead, stroking away beautifully, but really there's not a lot in it across the pool. At the 25-metre mark, there's not going to be a clear advantage to anyone. Lafina swimming for Ukraine, the Mexican to her left, swimming in 4, And it is a very, very close race indeed.
Took ages to get the race underway, but it's not going to take very long to finish. Patricia Valle, 47-year-old, is looking really good, but she keeps looking around her in the pool as she goes up to take a breath. Peng is applying pressure on her outside, and she's well aware of that, while Deng, Watson and Firmino all looking good for the third place touch, but it's going to be Valle ahead of Lafina in this race.
It is going to be Valle. She's done very well, and she was keeping an eye on the competition just over her right shoulder. She'll easily touch in, comfortable in first. But Lafina stayed with her, and look at this. Deng Yue from China will touch in third, but again, a very close result there. And Peng just touching in, the SB2 swimmer, and Cunnington will round out the results there. So it's been a Paralympic record for Peng, who's swimming in the SB2. So 2 records we keep an eye on for this particular race. So Patricia Valle, she's swum a 1:01.34 to qualify the fastest. But Peng has set a new Paralympic record for the SB2 classification, so the lower classification, and that Paralympic record is 1:13.95. So it was an even start. The first 25 or so, it was stroke for stroke between Valle and Lafina, and really not much in it. And over in lane 2, Rachel Watson as well had a good swim. She'll have to wait and see whether it's been enough to make the final. We still have another 8 swimmers to come in heat 2, but there you have it. You see Valle there touching in for Mexico, the winner of heat 1. And the Chinese swimmer there, the new Paralympic record holder, Peng Qiuping, 1:13.95, so that's for the SB2 classification, SB2 and SB3 combined for the 50 metres backstroke. This is the women's 50 metres backstroke SB3 classification. Another Brazilian athlete to feature. You can hear the crowd appreciatively, thoroughly enjoying themselves. And if we run through the lineup here, we have Gabardolina from Kazakhstan, the 50-year-old athlete who's already won gold in the 100 metres free. We've got Cheng Jiao from China, Trimi from Italy, Miranda Herrera from Mexico, Svedovska from Ukraine, Verbova from Ukraine as well. So the 2 Ukrainians will swim side by side. Pereira dos Santos from Brazil will be in lane 7, and Adami from Hungary in lane 8. So a full heat here. So the fastest across 1 and 2 will go through to the final later on day 7. And Miranda Herrera was 4th in the 150 IM. She's a freestyle gold medalist in London and Beijing, the age of 44. And the crowd are very keen to see another Brazilian athlete make it through to a final on day 7. Gabardolina had a really good start in lane 1, but at the moment it's Miranda Herrera who has the slight advantage. She's gotten away to a brilliant start and has a lovely rhythm early in the race. So important to be able to settle. And in 2, it's Cheng Jiao, who is 22 years of age. So she's actually just hit the front, just over the halfway mark. So Cheng Jiao having a fantastic swim, and Miranda Herrera just hanging tough at the moment. Svedovska as well may actually challenge for second position in this, the second heat of this classification, but it will be Cheng Jiao. She's just having a look around over her right-hand shoulder to see whether anyone else is within range. She knows she's safe. And it's going to be a quicker time than the first heat, by quite a substantial amount. 59.87 was the touch. And just rounding out the field is the 50-year-old from Kazakhstan, Gabardolina, 1:19.01. And Adami from Hungary finishing off her swim. The crowd here just so delightful with their generous support to athletes of all nations, not just their own. So it was Cheng Jiao, the 22-year-old from China, touching in first. Svidovska, 26 years of age, 101.31, will be second in that heat. And Miranda Herrera from Mexico, the 44-year-old, 103.34, who had the second best reaction time to the start ahead of Trimmy, behind Trimmy rather, who places fourth in that heat. So Miranda Herrera, you see on your screen, the third place in heat 2, looking relaxed as though she's very much enjoying the experience in the heat round. So there you have it. It was Trimmy who got away quickest from the wall. And the Chinese athlete Cheng Jiao managed to build through that 50. Didn't really see her for much. See her there having a little look over the right-hand shoulder, just wondering who else is within range. And she'll qualify quickest and swim from lane 4 in the final later on day 7. Cheng Jiao, who already has the gold in the women's 150 metres individual medley, and this is her second event here in Rio. She has another 2 to swim, very much a sprint specialist, all sprints for the remainder of the program. Just awaiting confirmation of the heat 2 results. Two Ukrainian athletes, of course, hoping to go through. You can see the officials on your screen there, so there may just be... There's been a disqualification, very disappointing there. So just getting that news through now. So Miranda Herrera, who was set to feature in the final, now will not. She's been disqualified. So Cheng Jiao, Olga Svidovska, Trimmy, the top placements now in heat 2. And we look to the final lineup, so it'll be China, Ukraine, Mexico, Ukraine again, Italy, China, and then 2 Brazilians in the final.
It's the men's freestyle S13 50-meter race, the first heat of 3. Latica, Agalakov, Denisenko, Pankov, Silva, and Lignos of Greece. Greek swimmer closest to your screen. He finished 6th in the 100 breaststroke in his best finish. And this is his second event. Denisenko, the swimmer to watch, goes in 4. 2013 world champion. Second fastest swimmer this year over this distance virtually is Denisenko, and he makes a good start of it here in the men's 50-meter freestyle S13. It's a straight out sprint for the wall. He is not losing Pankov, however, and Kirill Pankov is looking to mount a fight back. At the moment, it is Agalakov who's looking good for 3rd, or perhaps Silva of Brazil. But it's Denisenko who's going to be outtouched by Pankov at the wall. Pankov comes home first, and it is Silva who closes fastest to outtouch ahead of Agalakov of Kazakhstan. So joy and delight for the Brazilian faithful. Silva gets the 3rd touch, but it was Pankov who closed very quick. 2-time silver medalist. He took the silver in the 100 fly. He'd love a 50 free gold. Kirill Pankov with a 24.79. Not his fastest time this year, but consistently sub 25 seconds. And that's key. Great touch at the wall. Kirill Pankov closed so quickly on Yaroslav Denisenko. So Pankov ahead of Denisenko. Silva is 3rd quickest, just 0.26 of a second ahead of Agalakov. Latica 5th Lignos 6th for Greece.
This is the men's 50 metres freestyle S13 heat 2. And expect another big cheer here because it's Carlos Fahrenberg from Brazil who is swimming in heat 4, 36 years of age. This is his first event in Rio, and he's been outside the medals in Beijing and London, so would dearly love to have a good result here. Russo in 1 from Australia, Templeton from Australia in 2, Fahrenberg from Brazil in 3, Jason from Australia in 5, Turbide from Canada in 6, and Yahweh from Indonesia in 7. So 3 Australians, Templeton and Jason, split by Fahrenberg. Well, it was a great start across the pool. The Brazilian got away to an absolutely cracking start, and look at him go. He's being spurred on by the home crowd, looking fantastic. Well, look at him go. Carlos Fahrenberg, he's almost opened up a half body length on the rest of the field. The 3 Australians across the pool, but it's going to be Carlos Fahrenberg. He's going to post a good time. It won't be a record, but the crowd loves him. Look at this. Carlos Fahrenberg. What a brilliant swim, a commanding swim. He took the lead early, a fantastic reaction off the blocks. Not the quickest of the pool, but solid. Posting a time of 24:41, so quicker than the Pankov mark set in heat 1, and it'll be Braden Jason 24:75 in second for heat 2, and Nicholas Turbide from Canada was the quickest, third quickest in heat 2. But look at that, the crowd just cheering on the popular swimmer, and looking at the replay there, he was just looked like he was absolutely motoring that strong, long, smooth tempo. So it's Fahrenberg, the quickest qualifier, and the crowd will see him again in the final.
The third heat of 3 in the men's 50 freestyle S13 sees the reigning world record holder, the reigning world champion, and the absolutely incredible talent that is Ihar Boki of Belarus. Kotel, Musabekov, Tursunkajayev, Boki, Fedina, Solgera, and Teski of Poland going in lane 7. Fedina, Paralympic record holder, gold in 2008. He dead heated with Musabekov for the gold in the 100 breast. The only time anybody's matched him over the last 8 years in that event. In this 50 free, it is Boki who gets off to the best of the starts. Great reaction time, but breaking water first is Fedina, looking to apply a little bit of pressure here. But it is Boki, once he gets into his stroke, who is virtually unbeatable in this race. It's one of 2 events in which he didn't win the gold in London 4 years ago, but it's his 4th event of 7 here, and a 5th event of 7, and he's going to touch comfortably fastest in Paralympic record time at 23:73, and has laid down a very good marker here. The world record holder, the world champion, silver medalist 4 years ago, and how desperately he wants to change that. At 23:73 for Boki. On his way to his 4th gold medal, he would feel. But Tursunkajayev, having swum a very strong second half, closed fastest and has just posted an Asian record at 24:48 for Tursunkajayev, the bronze medalist in the 100 fly. He'll be in with a shout in the finals for that sort of time. But Boki, in Paralympic record time, the winner of the 3rd heat and the fastest qualifier for the final. Boki, champion-elect over Tursunkajayev, while Fedina takes 3rd, and he'll advance with that time to the final. These are the 8 swimmers who advance. Fahrenberg qualifies 2nd fastest, but Boki in a league of his own, it seems. Tursunkajayev, Fedina, Braden Jason, a great swim. Uzbekistan, Ukraine also have a few good, strong finishes. This is the first heat of 3 in the women's 50-meter freestyle S13. Polo Lopez, Odilova, Mendak, Myers, Dedekant and Kane. Mendak, 3-time Paralympic Games champion, but is a fly swimmer. He's now swimming in the 50 freestyle. Rebecca Myers of the United States didn't get off to the quickest of starts. Katja Dedekant gets off to an explosive start going in lane 6, swimming for Australia, but it's Poland's Mendak who looks quickest at the moment, who just leads. But off her shoulder is Odilova, who does like to take it out hard and indeed is not losing any ground. Odilova really is challenging the Polish swimmer Mendak. Odilova and Mendak are going to be first two at the wall, but who is going to be first? I think it might just be the Uzbekistan swimmer Muslima Odilova. Silver in the 100 fly, despite being the world record holder. She touches first ahead of Mendak, and Myers of the United States touches third overall. Not near world record time, but a 28:37 is a very competent swim from Odilova. It goes better than her seeding time coming into this event. Mendak, however, goes a little slower than what she's been swimming. Rebecca Myers only third quickest overall. 3 golds in 3 events for Rebecca Myers. This not her favorite event, and certainly not one that she is expected to win the gold in. But Odilova and Mendak, big battle here, and Odilova swimming very fast. Great speed in the water and a solid touch of the wall. Confirmation then, Odilova ahead of Mendak. Myers finishes third fastest. Dedekant, despite the great start, touches fourth. Polo and Kane last to finish.
This is heat 2 of the women's 50 metres freestyle S13 classification, heat 2 of 3. And the lineup there will be Kasimoto in 1, Amalova in 2, Watt in 3, Tosh Pulatova in 4, Krozau in 5, Berra in 6, Gomez Batelli in 7. Tosh Pulatova, the bronze medalist in the 200 IM, 19 years of age. The quickest qualifying time of 28.19, which is a quicker time than was swum in heat 1. The Australian there, you can see. Prue Watt, no medal yet here. She's swimming 5 events. She won a silver in Athens, 29 years of age, so very experienced at Paralympic level competition. So Tosh Pulatova, a good start for her, but it was Krozau who spent quite a bit of time underwater. Prue Watt in lane 3 swimming very well, and in 2, Amalova having a great swim. In fact, she's pulling out slightly, ever so slightly in front of the rest of the field, but look at this. Berra from Italy having an extremely strong finish, but Tosh Pulatova, she's not going to be touchable. She's going to finish first with a time of 28:21, so quicker than the previous heat. And Amalova touched in second, so the 2 athletes from Uzbekistan 1 and 2, Berra from Italy, who had a great swim, 28:85. Prue Watt from Australia finished 4th. I don't know whether that'll be enough for her to go through to the final. And then it was Germany, Spain and Japan. The swimmers all got off to relatively even starts. The best of the reaction times was Berra. And it was even at the 25-metre mark. You couldn't really split them, but Tosh Pulatova had a fantastic back-end 25 and touching in at the wall first to win that heat in decisive fashion and quicker than the previous mark set in heat 1. So 28:21. Tosh Pulatova, will see her possibly challenging to swim in lane 4, depending on the result of heat 3. But Uzbekistan 1 and 2.
It's the third heat of 3 in the women's 50 freestyle S13. Among those swimming is the closest person to Yvonne Hop's long-standing world record, Anna Stetsenko. The Ukrainian is within 0.707 of a second, 700ths of a second of the world record that has stood since the Atlanta Games of 1996. Yvonne Hop of Germany. A long-time record is potentially in danger if Stetsenko can turn it on in the pool and if she can get off to a good strong start in the blocks. Edo of Spain will go in 2. There's Reuter of the United States. Expect Stetsenko going in 4. Swimming alongside that young lady, Colleen Young, in 5. Jenna Jones of Australia will go in 6. Petrikovicova of Slovakia goes in lane 7. Good looking start for Colleen Young in lane 5, and Young with a very long underwater, but Jenna Jones has hit the front and now looks to take it out in the sprint. Should be caught in the stroke by Stetsenko, and Stetsenko is coming back, but just how quickly can she come back? And doesn't have a great deal of pool in which to maneuver, but she is going to take the lead here. It is Stetsenko who is going to take this opening tie. Jones will hold on for the second place, and it looks like Colleen Young is going to come home third. It might be Reuter though in the top side, and indeed it is Young just ahead of Reuter. Good swim from Jenna Jones, great off the blocks, lovely underwater, but Stetsenko in the stroke nowhere near her personal best at 27.9, but the only sub 28 second swimmer. So she will qualify quickest, and Stetsenko, a good marker laid down, and perhaps sets up the potential of breaking that long-standing world and indeed Paralympic record from Yvonne Hop. Jenna Jones, great start going from lane 6. It's the split between lanes 4 and 5 where Stetsenko and Young were going. And a big swim from Anna Stetsenko. The second 25 saw her make up on Jenna Jones after that great start and lovely underwater from the young Australian. Still only 15 years old. So Stetsenko, 27.9, the only swimmer under 28 seconds across the 3 heats in the 53 S13. Jenna Jones, Colleen Young, Marta Reuter. Don't think Young or Reuter will be qualifying with those times. In fact, we might actually have a swim off Colleen Young. I think that's the same time as Rebecca Myers, who touched in 28.86 in the opening heat. So indeed, we've got 7 swimmers confirmed as advancing to the final. We will have a swim-off in this women's 50 freestyle S13. Stetsenko, though, comfortably the quickest qualifier ahead of Toshpolatova Nordilova of Uzbekistan. Another Uzbekistan swimmer going 6th fastest, Tamilova. She'll swim from lane 7 come the final. So the crowd will have to wait just a little before they begin filing out of the pool. The events are all but done. The heats have been swum now. There are only swim-offs to be had in the pool. Now one of them, at least, has come in the women's 50 freestyle. S13. So Myers and Young of the United States will go head-to-head with one another. Portuguese flag in the pool. Not so many Portuguese swimmers in action on day 7 of competition, although Joana Calado has been already swum in the 100 breaststroke. I can confirm that there are going to be some swim-offs, but I have yet to get any confirmation of what times the swim-offs will begin. But for now, the heats are complete. The 10 events in which heats have been swum this morning, 22 heats in total, are complete. Australia fighting chances for medals later, and the fighting kangaroo, the inflatables that have come on a daily basis. Brazilian flag is still waving proudly. It's been a great day for Brazil in the pool so far. Fahrenberg is certainly delighted. Enjoying the music at the moment. So we have at least one swim-off to come, and no confirmation as yet of exactly what time it is going to be swum. The women's 50-meter freestyle S13, Myers and Young of the United States having swum the same time at 28.86. So there will be a swim-off between Myers and Young. There might be a swim-off in the men's 50 freestyle as well. There's generally a limitation on how soon the swim-offs can be swum after certain events, and because the 2 swim-offs that'll happen are in the events that were swum last, there will be a wait before the swim-offs are conducted. The men's 50 freestyle S13 and the women's 50 freestyle S13. Well, we know there is going to be a swim-off in the women's 50 free S13. But it does seem that there is an indication there will be a swim-off as well in the men's 50 freestyle S13. But the swim-offs will follow shortly.
Well, the crowd's certainly filling in the gap in proceedings with a bit of fun. See the American supporters there looking forward to seeing this swim off, because it will feature at least one of their athletes. Some of the young Brazilian students who've been brought along to the Olympic Aquatic Stadium to support in this preliminary session on day 7. Of course, the final session still to come. And well, it's an even spread today. There's Team Canada.
Few familiar dance tunes being pumped out on the stereo. Is that the old colloquialism? Too old for this young terminology, all this slang. Well, what it is entertaining the many who have come to the venue.
And the Japanese supporters there. It's nice to see actually all the supporters interspersed amongst each other, not necessarily sectioned off into their own little cordon.
Well, there's been a significant embrace of cultures here. So there is going to be a swim off to follow. We've got the first swim off to come in the men's 50 freestyle S13, and we've got a swim off in the women's 50 meter freestyle S13 to come as well.
We have the men's 50 metres freestyle S13 swim off for a reserve position in the final, which is later on day 7. The two athletes you see in front of you are both 21 years of age, and the huge noise you can hear is for Silva, who will swim in lane 4, the Brazilian. And Jacob Templeton from Australia will swim in 5. So they both swum in the heats at time of 25.75. So the swim off now for a reserve position for the final, but not to be discounted, an important chance for more experience to perform in a large venue in front of a sizable crowd. So it'll be interesting to see whether the athletes can go quicker than the mark they set in the heats earlier in session 1 on day 7. Well, it was Silva who got out of the blocks just a little quicker. But it's the Australian with a slight advantage at the halfway mark. The crowd's going wild here. They'd love to see Silva touch in first, but it is the Australian just building a slight lead, and he's swimming out of his skin. He's having a great time here. So Templeton will touch in first. It's a quicker time that was swum in the heats, 25.42. In fact, Silva's gone a little slower, so it wasn't a huge rest between, and lovely embrace there from the two athletes. The Australian fans very happy, always keen to see one of their team perform. There's Silva, you can see on the screen there. So a swim off. They were very even out of the blocks. There were only 200ths of a second between them in terms of their reaction times off the blocks, and it was Silva who came up first. And by the 25-metre mark, Templeton will, well, he'll take a fair bit of confidence from that. He went quicker and may well think what might have been had he been able to swim that time in the heats. So there you have it. Templeton will be a reserve for the final of the men's 50 metres freestyle S13. So there we have the final standings, and Boki, the quickest with that Paralympic record of 23.73, will be the favourite in the final. Brazil, Uzbekistan and Australia also represented in the top 5 athletes.
This is the swim off then for the women's 50 metre freestyle S13. This for the very last place in the race proper, the final proper. Rebecca Myers and Colleen Young of the United States go in lanes 4 and 5 alongside one another. Now Rebecca Myers already 3 gold medals in 3 events, her 4th event of 5 at Rio 2016 for Myers, while Colleen Young is aiming to make her 3rd final in 3 events, having already claimed the bronze in the 100 breast. Myers, a world record holder in several events, including the 200 and 400 freestyles. It's Young who's got off to the better start. Myers, though, might have the quicker back end. It's Young who is leading at the moment. She's putting on a real burst of speed in the middle, but Rebecca Myers is looking like she is catching Young. Is there enough pull for Young to hold on? Myers is coming back strong at the back end, and it looks like Rebecca Myers might have enough in the tank to just pip Young at the back end, and indeed it is Myers just ahead of Young. The 28.6 for Rebecca Myers, 1/10 of a second quicker than Colleen Young. And Myers now into her 4th final in 4 events. Young misses out by 1/10 of a second. And Rebecca Myers, gold in her first 3 events. She won't be the favourite for gold by some margin, but she will swim in the final of the women's 50 metre freestyle S13. Well, Young has got the best start. She's certainly got a great start, uses the underwater very well. Wonderful kick, but Rebecca Myers in the pool, she just picks up real pace from about the halfway mark in the pool. great crawl stroke, wonderful cup and pull, and strong in the water, very strong shoulders. Both swimmers, regulars at the gym, combine gym sessions with swimming sessions and indeed with yoga sessions. So Myers ahead of Young. Confirmation then that Myers will make the final. Colleen Young will be first alternate should a swimmer drop out in this final. The women's 50-meter freestyle final, though, will see the battle between three Uzbekistan swimmers, and Stitsenko favourite to claim the gold, and she's getting close to that world record as well. Jenna Jones will want to spoil the party, the Australian. Well, after 22 heats and 2 swim-offs in 10 events, I can tell you that the preliminary session on day 7 of the swimming competition at Rio 2016 is now concluded. We have a host of world record prospects going in the finals, and a couple of swimmers who are searching not only for multiple medals, but the likes of Ihar Boki, who's looking for a 4th gold in 5. Well, that then concludes the preliminary session on day 7 of the swimming competition at the Rio 2016 Paralympic Games. We look forward to your company for what should be another exhilarating finals program on day 7. Until then, though, from the Olympic Aquatic Stadium, it's goodbye.